Yes, roll call, and for the record, Roger is joining us by conference call. Hello, Roger.
Hello, Roger. Roger's here.
Roger?
Kind of.
Maybe.
Roger West here.
Okay, all right.
Hello.
What'd you do, go for a martini or what?
Oh, that Roger.
Dick O'Dowd, Leslie Jacobs, I'm here. Dick Picola,
Here.
no Paul. Jim Munson,
I'm here.
Stephen,
Here.
Claire, no Claire. Tammy?
Yep.
Debbie?
Yes.
John Humphrey, no. Sue Downs?
Here.
John West?
Okay, we do have a quorum. All right, to start off with my comments, first of all, welcome to all the owners. I appreciate you coming and taking the time out of your schedule to be here. At the workshop, we discussed pretty much in depth what we did as a group, as the offices did, what the employees did, what management did in preparation of Hurricane Dorian. Okay, and there was a lot of behind-the-scenes work taking place, and there was a lot of work involved getting ready for it. Fortunately for us, it bypassed us. And we learned lessons from Irma, and those lessons were put to the test. And I'd like to say, and I'll tell you all, that the test went very, very well. The standard of operations, procedures that we put into place, I spoke at the workshop, and if you need me to run them down, I will. If not, I'd like to have the board ratification to go ahead and put those procedures into place for future considerations. Hopefully, we will.
Do you need a motion?
Just to ratify. Yeah, that would be great. That'll work. Motion, do I hear a second? A second. Do we have any discussion on this? Yeah, go ahead, Sue.
I thought when we talked at the workshop, we already had a document and we were gonna bring it today for people to look at. I thought that document was already completed, as of what I remembered.
It's gonna be
So
updated.
shouldn't it come in here so
Well,
that we?
it's gonna be updated. There's more to it than what meets the eye, but what we did, all right, if you want me to go through it, I will go through it. But the only thing I wanted to add to it is, now that we're in discussion, the employees, our workhorses, they were here until 3:30 Friday morning, Friday afternoon, their normal work schedule. They left. The storm was scheduled and come our way the next day or so. And that weekend was Labor Day weekend. So I want to, in the future, instead of waiting 4 days, we give an extra day because our employees actually didn't have a chance to prepare. And that's not right, it's not fair to them. Well, they were caring for our property as a whole, and they were caring for individuals' items that they were pulling in from their courts and whatnot like that.
Yeah, that was one of the big things. We had to remove the articles from at least 30 courtyards and secure them.
30.
Yeah, well, people aren't here or didn't respond. We made a list of everything that could fly and followed up on it, so we were really secure.
The biggest thing was the closing of the pools. That took place on Friday. Friday morning, they went around just before end of close of business. They went around securing the chairs, the lounges, the tables, the umbrellas, and we locked the pools at 3:30 Friday. Dorian decided to go bump a little bit towards the east. Saturday afternoon, I got on the phone with John, and we made the decision that we'd open up the pools, get the pools ready to be reopened on Sunday to make sure that the owners that were here, might have had company, could utilize the pools, and they were open by 11 o'clock Sunday morning. So we didn't lose anything but 36 hours on the pools being shut down.
Good work, Jim.
So, the document you're talking about is going to be a standing operating procedure along in all the things that we've done, along with the disaster preparedness that we've had in place before.
We can bring the schedule as it updated to the next meeting.
Yeah,
Because I thought we were gonna do that at the workshop. We said we were gonna do that, and
Yeah.
then it's not here.
Yeah, but I mean, the workers came in.
Chairman.
Somebody on Sunday can't.
Well, only because there are
Oh,
some new people on the board who have never seen that document, and I think
Well,
they should.
I believe it's, that document, Sue, is available and has been available to all board members when part of their packet when they come on the board. If you don't have it as a board member, I suggest that you let us know.
Isn't it on the
Okay.
website?
I don't know, and I don't know if it's in the
Chris,
packet.
would it be
I
on
don't
the
think
website?
so. I haven't
And I
seen
don't
it.
think it was in the packet when they came on.
Okay,
We'll
along,
make sure everybody has it.
one of the things that we brought out too was there was a couple of requests from people up north. The day that we were planning to shut down on that Friday, they were calling Friday morning as late as 11 o'clock to have trees in that courtyard trimmed.
Yeah, right.
Believe it or not, that took place.
And hustle it up.
Folks, it's not gonna happen. For future reference, we live in Florida, hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 1st, which is frequent, and I would recommend, highly recommend that if you're up north and you know that, get a hold of Condo Concierge, is what I like to call them, or a condo watcher to come by, and if there's anything that needs to be done, we can get it taken care of prior to that. But to trim a tree when we're scrambling to secure furniture and helping owners with special needs, which are a few on property, the tree and the bush and the shrubs are not gonna come into effect, I can tell you that. Okay, so that was the motion by Dick, seconded by, I think it was what? Pam, I'm sorry. Further question on the motion?
Leslie
Question on the
seconded.
motion? All in favor signify by raising their hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Roger.
Jim,
Yeah.
I'd like to have in the minutes too.
Sure.
Gratitude to all of the employees
Oh,
for all their hard work.
Yes, that's
Absolutely.
nice.
Thank you. Not only in the minutes, let's remember it at Christmas time.
Or soon,
Yeah.
a pizza party.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I do believe, I would hope that everybody got a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting. You had a chance to review them. At this time, Chair will entertain a motion to accept the corrections. Motion. Motion made to accept. Do we hear a second? Second. Discussion on the motion. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor signify by raising their hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Let's cut into Treasurer's Report. JW. Yeah.
Good things are happening,
I like that.
and it's the ongoing good things, that's the best part about it. At the present time, on the operating funds, I'm gonna kind of round these off. We've got about $750,000 in reserves. We have $686,000. At the present time, we are on budget or buried off the budget by approximately $13,000, which is a result of tree trimming that was not budgeted for, and for the pool leak that we had, I can't remember which one it was, but that being fixed.
2 and 5.
The good news is we have several locations on our budget where we are under budget, one of them being in the administration, thanks to John, and we have a considerable difference between the budget and what we've spent, and a few other areas down the line. We're under budget in the administration area because of insurance purchases. We're over budget in the grounds area based on tree trimming. And at the present time, we have taken some of our cable consultant or cable bonuses and put them into a fund for the slab renovation, which will allow us to get that started. We still have approximately $43,000 left in that fund. So that's as it is. Are any questions?
Anybody have any questions for JW?
By the way, there are copies of that sitting at the end of
I believe they're up there, right, John?
Yep.
All right.
I have a question.
Sure, certainly, ma'am.
I-
First of all, who are you?
Jean Fonseca.
Nice to meet you, Jean, welcome.
565 Lakeside. Okay. Isn't tree trimming an appropriate part of every budget? Because in order to have fire and rescue come in here at any time, they have to be high enough that no scratches, nothing happens to that equipment, or they will not come on the property.
I believe that's part of the things that we could ask John, but I think that's something always taken into consideration.
So,
We're inspected once a year by the local fire district, and we conform to their requests. Our trees are trimmed along the boulevard up to a certain height. Some of the things may look low because, as you know, we share part of the boulevard with other associations, and when we raised ours, we asked if they wanted to do theirs, and they said no, they would do it, but they haven't done it yet.
so, let me go backwards. So the extra tree trimming that put us over the budget is due to hurricane, normal circumstances, above and beyond? How does it figure into the budget?
For about 5 years in a row, we had a budget of tree trimming of $49,000. The landscape committee, in wanting to accomplish certain planting projects, i.e. the fronts, backs, sides, which we're going through right now, took about 5 out of that and added to the budget, to their planting budget. We probably will come in within the former $49,000, but yes, we did some, as Jim said, preparation for hurricanes. We did some banyan tree trimming that wouldn't normally be done because we know how we lost the banyans, or the, whatever they're called. Yeah, they're banyans. Yeah, due to being blown over. So we've culled some of those. We've trimmed some additional carrot woods. We've taken some out. We have a plan to take 5 out each year. But in the next budget, I've proposed to the budget committee, which has accepted it, to put it back to $49,000 because it's more of a realistic figure. Could we spend $65,000? Probably.
So it's an encompassing fee. It's
Yeah,
grounds, it's not just tree, it's grounds.
Well, no, that's just tree trimming. Well, landscape has a budget of, say, I'm gonna round it off, $290,000. 44 of it is tree trimming, some of it's salaries, some of it's fertilizer, some of it's mulch, some of it's such and such. And so it's a big pot, so you can take some from another fund, but it's not happening. But to me, tree trimming is probably as important as many things that other people may feel aren't. And to make sure that we have the trees trimmed, that's why we go through it. We have almost 1,400 palm trees that we trim each year. That's a built-in cost right away.
1,400.
1,400.
And you take that times $18, that shows you that's a little bit of a money right then and there. And historically, the real tall palms were never trimmed here. For some reason, they felt that they're self-cleaning trees. Well, all palm trees are self-cleaning. They ultimately fall down. But these real tall ones have fronds that are the size of half this room. And to me, they're more dangerous if they fall than the littler ones. So we included this time, for the first time, all the tall palm trees too, as a hurricane preparedness.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay.
Jim,
Yes, Leslie.
just for, if you know offhand, John, how many trees are there in Wildewood Springs? Any idea?
No?
Leslie, that's a good
No, but I
project.
can tell you we have
Leslie,
1,400
We
pounds.
have 1,400.
So we can start there.
We lost 115
Right.
Irma.
Yeah.
I know, it's
Not palm
80
trees,
acres
not palm
of
trees.
trees.
Could we have close to 4,500 trees?
Easily.
Easy.
Easily.
Easy.
And not all of them need trimming, and some of them are small enough that our own guys do it.
And how much did we spend on Irma with the trees?
We spent $97,000 cleaning up after Irma,
So, this,
all without assessment. Many associations around here
We're still
had assessments, and many associations here right now are also having assessments. Southwind's I hear just had 1,100, 1,200 for roofs. Spring Lakes had $600.
Will you stop saying that word?
Yeah.
Spring
Spring Lakes had a $600 one for the tennis courts.
That curse word.
Assessment?
So we're operating without that, that's the important thing.
Thank you.
Okay, further questions? We'll move on to accounts receivable, John?
All right, at the end of August, there were 4 units that owe 1 quarter, 2 of which we collected since. No units owe 2 units, owe 2 quarters, no units owe 3 quarters, and units with legal issues, there's a report there that's attached that shows that we've turned 2 over to the attorney for collection. 702, that was an owner that was making partial payments, they've slowed down, they've come to me, they said they really can't do it, so they put their unit up for sale. So, but that's still with the attorney, because we have to follow through, whether somebody's in, whatever the problem is, we have to treat everybody equally, otherwise it could be discrimination. The 271 has also been turned over to the attorney because they made up the $3,000 they paid, but they didn't pay the legal fees, the interest and the late fees, so we kept that lien on there. And then finally, we have unit 457 that we all know is a constant. The owner declared bankruptcy and is making payments according to the schedule, which means we lose every month because the judge gave them the ability to pay less than what we owe, they owe.
So they're,
So we got one that's gonna continually,
Further behind.
yeah,
Yeah.
457 will continually get further up.
Are they living there too?
Yes,
Okay,
we had it foreclosed, she's another one that did bankruptcy the day before foreclosure. Kept her home.
Do we have any recourse based
Yeah.
on the fact that they're not even paying?
Once they get the judge's agreement for bankruptcy, we cannot even call them. We can't smile, we can't do anything.
So does the judge know that we're losing money?
The judge knows.
oh yeah.
One
Oh,
last
yeah.
question.
The judge had all the figures, what the quarterlies were and everything else.
If you want his name, we can get that for you too.
Can that unit be sold without covering the balance of what is owed us?
Probably not,
I mean,
probably not. And plus the fact she's not even thinking about selling. I mean, right now, she's in a good position. If there's such a thing when you're hurting for money.
why
You
would
know,
you?
I don't wanna get too deep,
All right,
you got some trouble.
let's get into this building cleaning project.
All right.
Hey,
As you know, we were starting to have mold and mildew and what have you creep, especially the tops of buildings and on the side walls. And we tried something new. Last time we did a complete building wash, it cost us $29,000. So we tried bringing in an employee on weekends to do the job. It started almost 2 or 3 months ago in Pinehurst. They're still clean and it's finished. Cost us $2,950. We saved about 90%.
Wow.
And it's finished.
And it looks great.
it does.
Good work, John.
Okay, the flood insurance update.
All right, the flood insurance update is that we've done just about everything we can. We collected as much information from owners. We got about 90% of the people that, you had a report last month, but it hasn't changed, so 90% of the people responded. We have 380 units without a mortgage, so that means that there's the difference between 380 and 558 with mortgages. As I said, we contacted every bank. That's one of the reasons that the mailing and everything else is over budget for this period of time, because they all had to go out registered. All the banks that we got back agreed, except for Bank of America. Bank of America, I think, has 15 mortgages here. So it's not as clear cut as we would like it, but I've talked to the association attorney. He said, let's go ahead and register the document where the owners amended the declaration to not to require flood insurance to be purchased. And if we don't have a claim in 5 years, the bank has no recourse. So the proper documentation has been sent to the attorney to register with the Manatee Circuit Court. Our amendment, it'll be part of your documents as soon as we get it back. It'll be mailed to everybody. As you know, we would have been responsible anyway. And what a lot of people didn't understand is that the flood insurance the association would buy would only be for the exterior and not the interior anyway. So it really wouldn't be a benefit to the owners for their interior products to spend almost $300,000 is what the premiums would be. So this is something that was very wise to get done. And hopefully we'll get through the 5 years without anything. But the interesting thing is, other banks agreed to it, and so if one of their units are damaged, it'll just go through the regular course, which the association has responsible for anyway, as far as the interior drywall, which is the main thing.
Any other questions on the flood insurance? Okay. Second floor unit walkway renovation. At the workshop, the ladies on the board beat us guys up. They chose what they want to go down, material as far as color goes.
People would say,
It was
did
part-
we win?
Oh, people were,
Yes.
it was part of the Yaya sisterhood. With the secret knot, the handshake, you know, the code words. But we don't have that material available, right, John?
Well,
I mean,
it's always a story, so you might as well hear it.
oh, go ahead.
The building committee met and went through the various interviews with a couple of contractors to see what needs to be done. For those who may be uninitiated to this whole thing, we're talking about the walkways to the second floor on the top of the stairs, the cement slab that enters into the second floor for those who live on the second floor. We were noticing of some slippage in these slabs, and so we've gone in the past on 20 of them and redone the support systems, which is the 2x4s and the buckets and everything else that hold it up. Subsequently, we found that the water is percolating through the slabs, through cracks, through aging, through what have you. And if we're going to stop the deterioration of the support systems, we have to waterproof those slabs above it to stop anything going through the slabs down into the 2x4s, 4x4s, and the metal that holds those slabs up. We investigated just about every way possible to do that waterproofing and came upon a product that is Catherine?
Yeah.
May I have one of those slabs? I forgot to bring it in, one of those pieces. And bring me the little chip too, because we've had a little thing happen. We've had some feedback after we've gone. But anyway, we've gone to 3 contractors, and one of the contractors is our one of our owners. I'll get into that in a minute. But here's the type of material that will be placed on the upper slabs. And of course, when it comes to a wall, it'll be up like this and then sealed. When it comes to a top step or side, it'll come over like this and sealed. This material is supposed to be the best going for the waterproofing. Can it be dug into? Possibly, but it can be fixed if somebody nails it with a refrigerator or something like that. Subsequently, I was brought this, which is kind of it's not as thick as this, but they contend it's the same thing, and it's somewhat brittle, and they say that this is placed on the flooring of a condominium on the beach 8 years ago. So I'm in the process of trying to contact the purveyor of this material, talk to him about this, make sure the warranty is what it is. I don't think we want to get involved in something that may crack in 7 or 8 years for the expense, because the material alone for each slab will be about $1,400.
Times 140.
Yeah, plus the installation. Well, I don't know. See, that's if this is in fact the same product, then we've got to be concerned about the length. Now, as I said to Jim, he and I may not be here in 8 years, so we may want to fix it right now. All kidding aside, so we want it, but this is supposed to be the answer. This is what Vizcaya is putting on all their balconies right now.
Maybe people wanted to see it.
Yeah, you can pass it around. And there's various colors, and I don't think that's the one the
Yes, it
ladies
is.
chose.
That's the color that the Yaya sisterhood picked.
Personally, I was, we were planning on
The
putting
guys
this,
were going for this one.
the committee was going for this.
No, not the committee. Oh, the building.
Building committee, but what do they know?
Apparently
I have a question,
nothing.
John. I never thought of it before, but while we were doing that, there's nothing that you I actually probably understand the problem better today than I did before. So the seepage is coming because it's leaking through the concrete itself, whether through cracks or pores or whatever's happened over the years. So there's nothing you can put on a spray or anything that does all those things?
They have those types of things too, but this is the particular material that was recommended to the building committee as the best in today's market.
Better than the spray?
Better than the spray, because there's no way to flange it or cut it, adhere it, so it doesn't get behind.
Okay, I just wondered if we'd look at some we
And what else I was gonna say, let's leave it right there.
John,
But we're gonna do one.
We're gonna do 3 tests.
No, just one now. We're taking because each one can be different. Some people have polypebble up there, some people have tile up there, some people have paint up there, some people have nothing. And we are responsible to take off the material and then put this material down and nothing goes on top of this because it can cut through it. So unfortunately, the worst one, without a doubt, because we've got a slippage of about this much of the slab. I think it's 587, 577. Anyway,
I know.
yeah, it's in there.
Pass it.
592. They just put polypebble down before they left. And so we had to call them and tell them we're gonna take it up, because we have to.
Yeah.
And the attorney has also told us that we're responsible to do the takeoff.
You are, we are.
The association.
Oh, okay.
So what I hear you saying is that this will be the top surface.
Yep.
Somebody brings a refrigerator in and tears this, it can be corrected.
Yes, it can be corrected, because that was one of the big concerns.
Just put the pebbles down.
Hopefully people will be a little bit more careful, and this is pretty darn thick.
Association
But,
has to take it.
and so our deal right now is, because we don't know exact cost, because everyone is a little different. Some you gotta take tile up, some there's nothing there. And what have you, is the contractor's going to give us the bills for the equipment and the bills for the material and the time that they do for a 20% markup on one, and then we'll see. Our reserve is anticipating about $1,900 a slab.
How many of these do
We
we
have
have?
149.
And we're And we're testing on 3?
One
No,
right
one
now.
now. One now. Dick, you had a question?
I'm a little bit confused, probably my problem. Is it just the slab at the top of the stairs that we're going to put this on? Or is it the entire runner upstairs?
The entire, well, I'm sorry, everything that's up, if you walk up and step from the top step onto the slab, the entire upper surface from the beginning of to the sides to the door will be done by this.
That's all, that's my question. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Wait, and
Go ahead,
I
Leslie.
just want to clarify, the association is doing the labor of taking off any tile or pebbles. Are
We
they
have to.
paying,
We
or
don't think
is
we
the
will.
association paying for it too, not the homeowner?
The association, the project includes the takeoff and the installation of this. Then we open it up below and see if there's any work to be done below. And if there is, that's gonna be added to the project. And then, of course, we would put in the slats so we can investigate in the future versus any drywall or anything that's up there as ceilings.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, next item, security camera installation. They're all installed, they're all up and running.
Wow.
Smile.
Yes, wow. So this is an HD, look at this, an SD, okay. Those of you in the back. This is a 9-camera view of what the cameras look like. So let me do this, let me go to a 1-camera view. Give you an idea of what is here.
We're just
Is
accepting
anybody else
that.
from Brooklyn here? So they can translate the ones in Chicago, Illinois, Illinois.
And who has access to these cameras?
Myself, the management,
So none of the
Security op-
homeowners have
No,
access to
no,
the cameras?
no,
Whatsoever?
No, not whatsoever. The security officers on patrol, that's it.
But if you come in about 3:30 in the morning and weave a little bit, we got your picture.
I'm just wondering if there was something going on where homeowner was curious to find out, just like down at the Moose Club on Anna Maria Island, they have the cameras, you can log on and see
that's
what's
not
going
gonna-
on down
No,
there.
that's not. It's very,
This
very
evidently
secure.
is a closed system,
It's a
just.
closed system. Yes, it's a closed system.
For security.
What we were doing before in the past, we were leasing our cameras, and when the lease came up for renewal, they came up with a price of $18,700 to lease for 5 years.
A year.
A year. For the original 3 camera stations that we had. Well, and what we were paying for, if it wasn't a warranty issue, they had to come down, it was $450 per job, John?
$150 show up, yes,
Yeah,
plus.
plus. So, what we did, I think we made the intelligent decision, the board did, to go with the purchasing of this system, adding 2 additional stations, which is now Lakeside and Woodlawn, which was never there before, plus the tennis courts back here, the back gate, which covers the kayaks, the gas tanks on this side, the office, if anybody's gonna break into the office, plus the generator in that area there. That cost us $18,200 one-time purchase. During the installation, we found a few things that was gonna save us more money. Is that when we requested in the past router modems for the stations, they put in 400 gig modems, which was a very high overkill on what we didn't need. What we needed was 100 meg modems. We were paying $149 a month for 400 meg modem,
Per modem?
per modem, which now we're down to 100 megs at $49 per modem on each station. So the savings, when you balance it out over the course of, for budgetary purposes, is considerable. On the camera side of it, we purchased the cameras with a 3-year warranty, and after that, if something went wrong with the camera, they can come down and fix it for $125 per service call instead of $450. The modems are now costing us considerably less, at least 2/3 less than what we were paying. Plus the fact that we own the equipment and we expanded the coverage throughout the property. I asked Debbie just before, does this, as a realtor, does this add value as an owner and as a prospective buyer here? Sure. And her answer was, okay. So we did something with it this week. The cameras will be put on the devices, on the office, in John's office, and completely tweaked for those that are gonna be viewing it. The security officers that come on the property, there's a geo-fence set up. That means that they cannot sit over at McDonald's and say they're coming on the property and patrolling our property. They have to be physically on the property patrolling and knowing that they have access to the cameras. The NVR, which is the brains of the whole system, records for a 60-day period. And based on the fact that all the cameras now are gonna be in color instead of black and white and night vision, the NVR capability is gonna drop from 60 days to 45 days on recording time. I think where the cameras came from, because I was just messing around with the owner of the company this morning, is about the timestamp, which is what they call watermark. And the timestamp seems to be an hour behind of what we are. So I said, did they produce the cameras in Central Time Zone, or? But they're gonna get that all tweaked through the NVR, and that's gonna happen tonight. the other side of the security camera issue was that while they were installing, we realized that here in the office, we had a modem/router. And everybody right now could log into the office router on a password. The modem that was in there, covering just the office, and let's leave the cameras to the side, that was 30 megs, which is really, really, really slow. So I called Spectrum and found out that, yeah, well, we tried to find what the account was and what the transition between Bright House and Spectrum. They forgot about that one modem in the closet there. Wasn't at where we're supposed to be getting on 100 meg speed. The other fact was that that router sent a signal that you could sit at the tennis court and get on the Wi-Fi here if you had the password for the Wi-Fi here, or up by where Peter Farron lives. You can get on the Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. However, so can a hacker. The Wi-Fi was not protected here. So this week, it's going to be protected. There's going to be a public access, and there's going to be a secured access to that router. The reason being, we're leaving your information that is on the computer totally exposed. So did we get with Tom today, John? Did you talk to Tom?
I did, all I got was this machine, she's gonna call me back.
The plan is that this week, probably tomorrow or Wednesday, that router is gonna be secured. When you come back in, that password that you have now is not gonna work after this week, so you're gonna have to come to the office to get the public access. All right, I think you had a question? Okay. We have any other questions?
Just want to let you know something that you don't even know yet, that not too long ago today, a representative from Wildewood 2B came in. When we put the original system in, we reached out to everyone in this community, Spring Lakes and everybody, to see if we could do a protection of the entire complex, ours and theirs obviously, enclave I guess is the word. And Wildewood 2B were the only ones that had any interest at all at that time. Because of, I think it was like 40 cents or something of that nature addition, they had a problem. It was very, very minor. Anyway, they're in now because they hear we've got a new system, and the one that they put in when they didn't go to ours isn't functioning, and the wires are gone, and they want to know if they can become part of it. So who knows? But we, you know, I mean, I'm going to listen to them and we'll talk to them. But right now, they already had a chance to get involved.
Which cluster, which
2B
villages
is Pine Needle and the one at the end where the tennis courts are.
Wild Palm.
Wild Palm and then.
The cameras are up, the cameras are installed, we own them, ready for us. Does anybody have any questions on that? Good question.
So the maintenance fee on
No.
that?
Nope.
So if anything happens, it goes under the warranty?
3-year warranty.
It's a
man.
3-year
3-year
warranty.
Full warranty.
Software issues is also included in
It's
that?
all included in it. Okay.
Valuable.
What could happen in the 3-year period, being that technology changes quite rapidly, we would have the opportunity, we could sell that, get an updated system, or enhance that, or what we were paying in the past, we can, and I did put in for the budget based on the fact that we did save quite a bit of money, is cover other areas, like entrances to different villages. We covered Woodlawn and Lakeside, perhaps we can cover the entrance to Sherwood. Perhaps we could, you know, in the future, cover the entrance into Palm Tree, just to see.
Or the pools.
Or the pools.
It's open-ended.
No more street cleaning.
Yeah, that's right, Deb. Tammy, you can no longer go clothing optional at the pools.
It's also, you'll see as you get your budget next month, with all this, after buying the equipment, of course, which is going to come from the monies from the contract negotiations. Didn't cost us anything. Our security budget will be almost $10,000 less next year because of these savings.
Okay, Any other questions? All right, let's move right along. I'm sorry, Dick. I'm sorry, Dick, I didn't see you. I didn't have my glasses. Go ahead.
It's not a question, it's just a comment. I think the words come difficult for me, but I think we all, you and John, a great deal of thank yous for all the work that you must have done to make this work. I personally just want to thank you.
Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's welcome, thank you very much, but I live here too. Okay? I have guests that come in here, and I have friends and neighbors that we look to protect. We want to protect one another, and if we're not gonna do it, who is, okay? That's
Good work.
all right. Resealing project.
Oh, here comes the fun. Here comes the
Here
fun.
it comes.
Come Wednesday,
Uh-huh,
This week?
Wednesday of this week,
yes.
we will
This one.
commence the sealing of the clusters that were previously paved.
Yes.
Okay, and this is done as a protection to the former new asphalt, you might say. So A, B, C, H, K, N, Q, R, and Y will be done between next Wednesday and October 4th. Now, we spread it out in such a way so when A is done, B and C won't be done, so A won't have to go too far to park their cars. And when N is done, you know, Q won't be done and so forth. So there'll be areas available to parking. It won't be like when we did the whole cluster of asphalt and everybody had to move out at the same time.
Cluster A will still be on the 25th and 26th.
Cluster A is, no, Cluster A is gonna be Wednesday.
This way.
This Wednesday. This Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John?
I see
It
a
couldn't be
lack
changed.
of one of the
It's
letters,
okay.
Here.
which I've seen for many years. X, do we ever get a new cover?
Well,
No.
yes, there's still, I and J and X are the only three left to be done, and that's in the future. What happens, yeah, the ones that were recently asphalted, in the Palm Tree and in Lakeside will not get sealed this year because they were just, the asphalt just went down. So they'll have to be sealed next year, and then yours will be sealed because it's about 3 years in the future plans before you're resurfaced. It's all done on a matter of need, and what happens is Wildwood Springs Boulevard comes up year after next, and that's gonna be a big.
That's gonna be the big, yes, ma'am.
Police, fire, and rescue have been notified, I would
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
assume.
that's all part of it, they have to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Again, because we have people close to us.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, good point. The vendor takes care of all that, and we follow up.
Okay.
The dumpsters will be moved?
The upstairs will be moved out, the mailman is notified already.
Pizza Hut.
Listen,
Will there be,
DoorDash?
Every, well, the key players have been notified as to what's going on and when it's gonna take place. Okay, any other questions on the clusters being sealed? I'm gonna seal the clusters, I like that. New business communications.
no real communications to report on this month.
Any other thing?
The only thing is back and forth we've had with the attorneys on these various collection items, and that's been taken care of.
Okay. All right, operating surplus discussion.
I basically recommended that we hold off on this until we get the budget in next month.
Okay.
But basically, just to be forewarned or forearmed or what have you, we've been using a portion of the monies that, when they say operating surplus, you do certain things. You calculate what you need or what should be ready to handle the budget items, and any excess cash, after taking out all of the prepaid bills or bills to be paid or anything like that, is a surplus. And over the past 4 years, we've been taking a portion of that surplus and underwriting it and being able to maintain a savings to the owners of $5 to $10 to $12 a month by doing so. The budget is, and I'm not gonna speak for the budget committee yet, but it's pretty well in shape. And it'll come to you with the option of, again, using some surplus. The recent calculation on surplus is about $185,000 today. And the board's policy in the past, I never found where it was written in stone, but it's been, we better keep at least $100,000 in there. The project this year, to keep the fees the same, should everything go all right, is about $60,000, $64,000. So it can be, if you use if the budget comes to you as I anticipated it would be, if you added the $64,000 from the operating, the maintenance fees would be the same. If you said, I don't want to take 64, maybe we'd only take 32 and keep a little bit more in there, it would be about a $5 raise to the owners a month. Or if you went down to 15, it would be about $250 a unit a month, increase in the fees. But that's all gonna come next month. So,
Jim, do you need to table the motion?
No, it's just a discussion, that's all it is, Dave.
any thoughts and changes or anything of that nature about the, that I can bring to the budget committee? You're staying with about $100,000 minimum?
Well, see, I think we can wait just and bring that up at when we do the budget.
Yeah.
Put it in there as can't say a law, can't say a rule.
No, you can say a policy.
Just a policy.
And that's what we have discussed here, that we would keep
Yeah, we
$100,000.
could-
Plus, we put a line item into the budget also, so that should be fine. You shouldn't really probably keep any more than that. And that is the owner's
Well,
money.
the only reason why we came up with the $100,000 is because of Cheeseburger in Paradise with
Wait.
yeah, when Irma came through, there was that little wager as to what it was gonna cost to recover it. And
Still out there.
the wager was a Cheeseburger Happy Meal, which I'll tell you was very delicious. There's nothing better tasting than a free
And you
cheeseburger.
got the toy.
And I got the toy, yes.
Which he gave to his granddaughter.
Yeah, I gave it to my grandma. Leslie, you had a comment?
Yes, I just wanted to tell all the owners here that the next budget committee meeting is Monday.
Yep.
Just come
And
in.
you're all welcome to attend and put in your 2 cents, only figuratively.
Literally, we could use
Well,
it.
I was gonna say,
Jim
speak
would
for
like-
yourself, I
yeah.
like another raise in the budget. I'm gonna ask for another raise, I want another zero.
You deserve it.
Am I right in assuming that our next meeting that we have in regards to the budget by the board, it will only be a budget meeting that we're discussing
No.
during that meeting?
No, we're gonna vote to accept the budget to send to the owners.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that'll be a part of the agenda.
Tammy, you got anything you wanna throw in
I
there?
just want to thank John
Yeah.
for explaining your viewpoints pertaining to the operating surplus discussion at the workshop. I mean, it really, really gave a lot of information that I
Thank you.
appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to the manager's report.
Okay,
Now,
we-
before,
Just some general items.
oh, chill out.
Shut up.
Okay, back in May, this board had asked me, and I'm going off the agenda here because it's not on the agenda, I just want to refresh your memories, that pretty soon John's contract would be coming up for renewal. And back in May, the board asked me to go ahead and negotiate with John a new contract to bring it into in line with our budget years. Before it was in May, our budget year starts in January, so we brought it up and I sat down, and it's to John's disadvantage that in the 5.5 years I had the pleasure of working so close with him, you just can't work with someone that close and that long without learning the art of negotiations, or the art of the deal. Okay. I sharpened my pencil. Okay. So I'm here to let the board know that unfortunately, John and I have come to an agreement that John will stay as our manager for the next 3 years.
Oh, my God.
We've come to an agreement, and it's all been put into the budget for the upcoming budget. And the contract months will start on January of each year. John's gonna be here the next 3 years, starting January 1st. That will bring him into December 2023.
And of course, it does have a 90-day,
Yes.
and I mean, it does have a 90-day on either side should something come up that you, should my
Right.
performance not be to your level or vice versa.
And the other
I don't
thing
see
is-
vice versa happening.
The other thing is, John and I discussed, we discussed our age, basically. And the what-if scenario. And if John felt that he could not in future, he would sit with me and help us get along with the interview process and lean towards replacement at that point. Hopefully we'll come to that. And I'm praying that it doesn't come to that, because I certainly don't want to do that. Okay? So that's where it is. And John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for
Appreciate it.
agreeing to stay.
Thank you. Very happy.
And Helen's thrilled, right?
No, Helen sent me a sympathy card. I'm serious. She says, Jim, you were there with for 5.5 years. You have my condolences. And my
There is no need for board action on that.
No,
That's okay, I just want to be sure.
We're sitting down. John, I'll get with you later on.
No, that's fine.
Put pen to
Just want to be
pencil.
sure.
Pencil to paper. Now, let's get into the manager's
All right.
report.
Thank you. The general items, the final planting of plants in the rear and sides of buildings is complete. Just this morning, I took a tour of the fronts and backs of buildings. I found about 7 or 8 sections that are a little bit in trouble because all of a sudden the rain stopped. And so we are targeting, if you have some plants behind or side of your building that you feel are looking a little peaked because they're new, we understand it, and we're doing special waterings on those particular plants, okay? But if anybody sees something and wants to let me know in case I missed something, we don't want to buy plants more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Office carpets were cleaned since the last meeting. They hadn't been cleaned in about 6 or 7 years, so we were able to do that at a reasonable cost. Good company, what was the name of the company? Simmons?
Champion.
Champion. They come in, got in and out, and did a good job. So if anybody wants carpet cleaning, we can certainly recommend the Champion people. All hurricane preparedness practices, Jim talked about that earlier, were put in effect. And we talked about tree trimming, contacting those people that we knew had issues by themselves, like I personally called Charlie Williams and what's her name, in the 600, Katie Williams. They're both Williams, that's right, I forgot about that. And people like that, Jane Conway, and everything was fine, okay? Metal benches along the roadway were wire brushed and painted with rust preventative paint. I've got some reports that the paint may have been sloppily put on. I will investigate that. It goes along with the stone walkways, so the benches were power washed and painted the same color. We had some feedback because we put the walkways to these benches with, you might say, used material that we picked up from various places, so it doesn't match. It didn't match, but if we had put the same type of paver to every bench, the project would have been close to $2,700 to put in. So we put in a mishmash, but now they're all painted the same color. I will make an in-depth inspection to find out exactly where the deficiencies are, and I appreciate the feedback on that. Finally, all pool furniture has been cleaned. Now you might know just a couple more things that didn't get in here, but pool 2 and 5 are going to be closed, and then pool 2 is being shut down today, And tomorrow, we will be dumping the water, and if anybody wants some chlorine water, you can go get it. There you go. And we'll be acid washing the pool. And why do you acid wash the pool? It's because certain algae and what have you get their little roots into the pool surfaces, and so every 5 to 6 years they need to be acid washed to burn those out so they don't cause a problem down the road. So these are the first 2, and there'll be 2 next year, and so on down the line.
Keep in mind that the pools will be empty. Will be completely empty.
Look before you die.
Security has been notified, the gates will be locked, there will be caution tape put up. If you go ahead and want to do a header into the pool, that's on you. Be forewarned.
Very
It will
short.
be empty. Plus the fact that the acid wash that's being used is not good for you to be around without respirators and that, so don't please go around the pools and get curious as to what's going on. Please don't do that.
You'll see the technicians, they'll be with masks and everything else. And also, we're going to be able to save money because while they're doing the major pool, we're going to be dumping the spa, and Jackie, our own employee, will be acid washing the spa, and it saves us $150 each spa.
All right, anything else you got to report, John?
That's it, sir.
All right. Let's go into committee reports. Chris, you got anything from the
Nope.
IT? Steve, buildings?
We're gonna have a meeting next Wednesday.
Okay. Anybody else that I missed?
I can give you a little bit, well, I already gave the Peter's report for landscape. We finished the planting. And also, yes, it's shaggy out there. As you know, we had to go almost through 3 weeks without cutting because of the massive amount of rain and wet. You still see some tracks where we tried not to put them in. The first time that we cut, when the grass was like this, the boys had to cut it 3 times. It took us 4 days to cut what usually is a day and a half, because they had to go in on one level, then lower it, go in another level, and then they'll bring it to another level. Weeds are abounding. Quite frankly, we're working on it what we can, but that's where it is right now. But we understand it and we're working on it.
Can we get with John Brown for next year's hurricane prep trimming? Can we move that up into May, or is we got contractual obligations someplace else?
No, we can move it. We've always thought that July was the time to do it because it's closer to the season. And you know, if you look there, we did them in July and they're already starting to grow. I'm looking at some of these trees and wonder, did we even trim them?
Well, the question was supposed to be on about that because, you know, afterward, first of all, they could only do half because of the rain.
Well, because it was wet, yeah, and he didn't finish those. They're all done now.
And then afterwards, we still had soggy ground and still ruts and whatnot like that.
Yeah, but you're right. June might be a better time to do it because it's less, but we had an inordinate amount of rain in July. July was a crazy one.
26.9 inches?
Yeah. And there's still water sitting in some places.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say,
Go ahead.
along with you're talking about where it was too wet, at least in my area in Oak, and I don't know if it's because they cut the grass too low, or if it's because the sprinklers again are embedded into the ground, but a lot of that grass is dying in front.
Okay, let's look at it. It is part of the cut because it got so high, and when you cut it all down, you do, it should be coming back good.
Yeah, it's not coming back much,
Yeah.
but like I said, it could be the sprinklers are again buried deep
Well,
there.
and then they had, the sprinklers, Eddie is doing a real good job at keeping the sprinklers up because.
They are not.
Really, yours?
825.
Pardon, 825?
And
All right, we'll look at it.
826.
All right, okay. All right, good.
Let's go with director's comments, go right to left this time. Yeah.
One quick thing on the IT committee.
Oh,
if
sure,
you
I'm
would
sorry,
mind.
Chris, go ahead.
I just thought about it. We would like to, if you know of anybody that might be willing to be a backup administrator for the website, I think we've talked about it in our committee that I may not be always available to do the work that needs to be done, and we really should have somebody else who could back up that process. So if you know anybody that's got some decent IT skills, why? And they'd be interested, have them contact us.
I get the telephone number, you can call for technical support.
Don't laugh at
Has,
Yeah, I
and
don't think it's
I'm asking this only,
Sure.
has Catherine's ability to do some things helped you in what you're doing?
Yeah, but
Not-
there's, I think, a lot of things that she is busier than, so she pushes things to us to do that, and I
Okay.
think it would be helpful to have another
Fine.
person that could do some of those things.
Tammy,
Nothing.
you go down.
No, except, again, thank you for all the work that you and John have been doing.
You're very, very well. John W.
No, nothing.
You? I'm
I
surprised.
said it all.
I got nothing further.
nothing.
Just a question, they dug like a little sluice on Spring Lakes where that water always puddles in front of, is that just gonna be dirt, or is there something gonna go in there, or? I don't, it's a good idea.
Well, yeah, well, we have to, yeah, I'll go look at it. We don't want, if we have to put some turf in there, we gotta cut it lower so it'll drain away. But I'll look at it.
It really, it's a great idea, I know we thought about it, I just didn't know what, it's about maybe 18 inches by 6, I didn't know if there was gonna be anything in there.
A lot of it was done for the.
Oh, it's a smart idea.
Roger, you got anything?
Yeah, just a question for John real quick.
Sure, go ahead, Roger, you got the floor.
No. Okay, I understand, John, that each of the clusters are gonna be done individually and there's some time in between. What are they gonna do with the entry road? So for example, from cluster A out to the boulevard, or from cluster C out to the boulevard past B, are they gonna do that roadway as well?
Yes, everything will be done to Wildwood Springs Boulevard.
Next year.
So how are they gonna keep traffic off of the roadway for those 3 clusters in there and the other ones in the back when they
Good question.
just do the
Probably do
roadway?
half and half. That's what we've done before.
Okay,
Hopefully,
I just wanted to know how to answer the question.
Yeah, no, that's a
Thank
good
you.
question. That's a good question.
Jim.
And Roger, we're trying to get you one more spot there on the west side. I haven't walked it with the contractor yet. We're trying to squeeze one more space into the, into cluster.
Anything would be helpful.
Okay.
Tammy, you guys?
Yeah. Question. Along Wildwood Springs Boulevard, we have a lot of the Wandering Jew and a lot of the bushes that are really close to the road. Is it possible to trim them back? And why I ask is because I have seen when there's cars coming from both ways and there's people walking their dogs, there is absolutely nowhere to, for the people to step off.
We do
property.
things in sections, and the boulevard is one section, and we'll, yes.
Because, I mean, there are places where there's nowhere to step off.
Okay,
That's
what- the only other
Good
comment-
point,
The
good
only
point,
other
thank you.
comment I have is that the next workshop is gonna be October 8th. Now, this is curious.
Jim?
This is odd. Yeah, let me get the board of directors meeting, this is odd because it's gonna throw us off, is the October 21st, based on the way the calendar works. Now, that's at 10
Oh, I
o'clock for the
see.
workshop, and 2 o'clock at the board meeting will be here. Now, your chance, owners, give it to me. Go ahead.
I've been in since September 4th. We've had numerous problems. I feel a lot of times like in Lakeside, where I am, I'm on another continent altogether. Okay, so I have a letter that dated 4 years ago to John that I saved, because I'm like that, regaling the problems that we had then. 4 years later, we're into the same thing. I put a new floor in the living room. The water came up under the slab and lifted the new floor. I had, oh my God, we've had so many, something bit through screens all over the place on my lanai. I'm petrified to go out there. I have mold growing back in my bedroom where it came in before. Not that I expect anything special. I'm asthmatic and I'm allergic to mold. And my bathroom and my bedroom were supposed to be done this time. But when I look at what happened to my living room, why do I want to put money into a unit where the things keep recurring? And this doesn't even go out to, because at one point John and I talked about the wall behind the house and how that had settled and how there were cracks in that, and that was 4 years ago, and nothing has been done with that. But when it comes to the interior of my home and my property, I expect to have something done in a reasonable period of time. Now, I started a diary on September 4th. My diary goes to 12 pages to today, when someone finally came back and said, tomorrow they may replace the screens. Still no dialogue about the downspout that keeps flooding the courtyard. Yeah, they cleaned it, but it still has issues. The mold growing in my bedroom, or the new wood floor that is up.
Okay,
So,
I think she's,
I'm making notes here, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh no,
I'm making
I
notes
saw
here.
you writing. I've got my eye on you.
Okay.
and I agree there's been issues there, no question about it. To say that we haven't done anything, I kind of really disagree with you there. With all, it's not my job to disagree with an owner, okay?
You've remediated that whatever is taking place at that time.
Now, I was under the impression that the screens were to be done yesterday. He didn't do them? He bought the
He's
screens?
coming back tomorrow, I believe. He's cutting them today. He had
Okay.
another job to go to this afternoon, and he will
Okay,
be
because he had to,
here
he went
tomorrow.
out and bought some railing, because he had,
Right.
all right?
Yeah, he told me.
Yeah, okay, so, but those holes are minor compared to water intrusion and everything else, but we are replacing them, okay? I understood that after you complained about the water flow and the guttering, Jim went out there and talked to you at length.
He took
And-
down the gutter,
Yeah,
the downspout coming down.
In the small courtyard.
In the small courtyard,
Right.
that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
Because we used to have 2 drains going into that small courtyard,
Mm-hmm.
and the water used to come up over the patio doors. So they diverted one of the downspouts around
right,
the building to the side
right,
and all the way down, and then it goes
okay,
to the retention pond
All right.
gradually.
right.
The other downspout comes right down from the roof, and there's I guess,
French drain.
it's either a French drain or a pipe that goes out to the retention pond.
Right,
That is blocked,
okay,
and I believe they tried to unblock that once before, but I think it was Jim that came out. He said he was gonna talk to you about getting the
Yeah.
machine in there to unblock.
well,
it.
all right, let's go to that.
But
So
they-
there
he
have
did
been
do
some
s-
actions.
he did
I mean,
something, though.
All right,
He took the downspout down, and the downspout was full of water because it was all clogged
from the going
from
out,
debris from the roof,
going
and
out.
it clogged it, and it wouldn't even go, even if it was unblocked underneath there, it wouldn't.
Now, I
drain.
understand that I proposed, which I think for the association is over and above what we should normally do, is sinking a sump pump in that area and putting a whole new drainage area, and you refuse to have it done.
Oh, no, that, I never heard that.
That's what I
No,
was told.
I disagree with that,
Okay,
because
all
my
right.
sister-in-law, who used to own a condo
Oakview,
at Oakview,
right at the corner where the pool is.
and they had the same issue with landscaping on their lanai, and water used to go in there, and they put a sump pump in there to drain the water over, and it would always fill up with leaves and whatever and block that sump pump,
Well,
so it did nothing.
It wasn't maintained.
There's new things to be done. Number one, we put in what you call trash pumps now, not sump pumps, that chews up leaves and things of that nature, number one. Number two, the piping, the association is not responsible, okay? Not responsible for pipes that go 40 to 60 feet off of your home.
You're
With
correct,
2
but the
feet.
association is responsible for the drainage of the roof that goes into my small courtyard
And we will take it
and
again.
raises that water level.
We will take it at a certain level and raise the gutter at high along the wall and take it out, but we're not gonna clean drains that were put in by other people. We just don't have the wherewithal.
Okay, that was unbeknownst to us when we bought it.
All right.
If you have a remedy, a solution, even if it's for us to maintain, to go out and
Yeah.
pull the guck,
Yeah.
I-
I think we've tried to be responsive. I really do. You know, I've been under your home many times, as you know. And if you feel we haven't, then I'm sorry.
no, I think there's remedies, but it's like every time I go away, I come back, and I'm in the same situation again, and it gets
Disconcerting.
frustrating.
Sure, absolutely.
Can I ask you a question? You were mentioning about the level of water in your courtyard. You have one courtyard? Or is it
We have
Two.
the small one, and then we have the large.
The larger. Are you aware about the scuppers?
What?
Scuppers in your wall.
They're pretty
They-
clean,
they-
yeah. They're pretty clean.
They're
Oh, yeah,
clean?
no,
Yeah.
those,
They're called.
we don't have any in a small courtyard, just a large
The larger
courtyard
courtyard
has.
should
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Okay, what does that
They're-
go out?
they're
Right,
clean.
right.
The only reason I asked, there are some owners that have landscaping in front of them.
Yeah, no.
Block the water drains. Okay, that's all, the only question.
The small courtyard, for some reason, I mean, when it rains hard, and of course it's gonna fill up because the drains are
Sure.
draining the water into the courtyard. With that pipe going underground, that was supposed to solve that issue. with
Years
that
ago,
courtyard.
years ago.
I don't know when it was installed, I don't know
Yeah.
whether it was installed when they built these buildings.
Well, probably
but-
not, but.
We're not the only one that has that issue. We're not
No.
the only ones that have
Yeah.
pipes going to the retention ponds,
That's right.
because I've seen them along the retention pond.
Correct.
We couldn't find the one from my courtyard at that time, because the ponds are full anyway.
But you will not go with the pump.
Oh, I will.
I think that would.
I
If you
will.
wanna go with the pump, if it solves the problem, that's fine.
That's good for you?
That whole patio door was taken apart, and it was all done over, because that was bad that last time.
All right, John, let's see if we get that,
Yeah.
some pump,
I'll
the
be
one.
happy to.
the-
So there are still, all right, so we can remediate that.
Yeah.
There's water that came up in that, on the wall in my bedroom. And the rug is black. I don't really give a damn about the rug because it's supposed to be replaced on this trip. That whole master is supposed to be done. I still have the wood in the living room that came up 4 years ago after I put it in. That has not been fixed.
Now that's,
That's another.
If
no, it just isn't.
If
according
it
to
leaches from a slab,
We are to try to prevent the water to come in, okay? You have the responsibility for the baseboard, the flooring, and everything else. It's the statute and it's your documents. If you've got bad drywall, we'll replace the drywall. But unfortunately, it's your responsibility, you know.
Okay,
All right.
that's fine.
well, let me go one step further with that. Has a precedent not been set because you've been in there a few times when there's been water? There was a hole right around the windows when my brother-in-law came down. There's been water that leached and you dug out, and not to the way a northern person who dealt with sewers all their life would.
Do you know what it costs to mention north here in this room?
It's an extra $5. I'm keeping.
But again, I dealt with all of that for years, so I understand the leaching
Yeah.
and
This
runoff.
is not funny, I understand.
I have the wood. Why would I put it in? Because it came back in again this year.
Well, is this again from the small courtyard?
No,
No.
this is the main house, the living room.
Didn't we fix?
You sealed it supposedly,
Yeah.
I think John said twice,
Yeah.
but that didn't
If that's
solve that
an issue
problem.
now, I didn't realize that.
They
That's-
don't know
it's-
where it's coming in.
All right.
They don't know whether it's coming in.
That's
from
our
the roof,
responsibility,
from-
we'll take it. Okay?
That's what's causing the wood to,
Okay.
Again,
go back.
I'm not asking, I'm not saying the rug's older than whatever. I'm not asking for replacement of that. I'm asking to repair the situations, and I will take care of the inside.
It's our responsibility, ultimately mine, to make sure that that's taken care of. I will do it.
And you're saying that Wednesday is supposed to come, I'm just making my notes here.
Tuesday. Today is
with the-
Monday,
with the
correct?
screens,
The screens, John from maintenance is supposed to start tomorrow.
Now, after he left, we looked at the screen on the bedroom door?
Patio.
Well, that's yours now.
Whew, the critter, I have no idea what the hell tried to get in. But
Probably a
if,
squirrel.
Or raccoon.
The holes are too small for a raccoon, I believe. It's probably a squirrel.
Probably squirrel.
That's
Could be-
never
well,
could be
happened.
then
coyote.
I will come to you afterwards and ask you who you recommend,
Sure.
because I will
Right
take
down,
that.
right down.
Oh, absolutely.
R-A-Y-D-O-N.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
I have to issue you an apology because I
There's no
okayed, I okayed the screens the day after John brought it to me when he visited you. Now, that's our fault that we didn't do it by now. And I authorized the materials last week. The fact he didn't have them and he had to go get them today was very frustrating. But I also was under the impression that he was gonna go directly from picking up the materials to do your screen.
Well, today he showed up at 12:38, and he was back out by 12:41. Not that I'm anal or anything.
Now, this is,
Oh, I am.
this is
Believe me, I am.
unfathomable. This is not right.
This is
Not right. 100%.
You're gonna handle that?
Yes, sir.
I just put floating vinyl in, floating vinyl floors, it looks just like wood.
We did that in my daughter's room.
And it's so easy to keep.
Him and I took a bathroom and my daughter's room all apart and did that ourselves.
I swear by it.
Good stuff.
And again, John, it's in no way a reflection on you,
No, I'm not
because
saying so.
you can't know 500 things that are going on at once here.
But I want to.
But
I
it,
want to.
it has to be brought up
Yeah, I agree.
so that it can be
I
satisfied.
agree, especially this issue with the windows in that situation. Okay? I take it the way it's meant. We want to fix it for you, okay?
Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you.
Is there any other business that comes to us? Yes,
You know what I'm
Chris?
talking about.
What's the status of Paul Salvis?
Yeah.
You don't even call his name on the roster. Is
Well, I
he
won't go by and say Paul's not
gone?
No, he's not, he's up north taking care of
I have an update, John.
his personal property up there. His wife passed, you know that, right?
His wife passed
Yeah, I
away.
knew that.
He went up there to sell the house. It's been sold. We talked to him yesterday. He'll be back in for the next meeting. But he just hasn't been here. And he doesn't have a computer.
I guess my feeling is,
Another person.
board members ought to attend the meetings either by phone or by person. And when they don't,
I
for
agree.
long periods of time,
I agree.
Then I
There's
think,
nothing we can do with that. Chris, I've been beating my head against the wall on that with a number of board members.
Don't we have something that says if they're not here for so many meetings?
No.
That did not
that did not
pass.
pass.
It failed. We voted on it too, but it failed.
No. Now, you've got two. I mean, really.
I have no problem.
I mean, Paul's been here since John
Chris.
has.
yeah, I don't agree with it. I do think it may be something that should be brought up to the association again.
I do too.
I think we should discuss that.
Well, it was defeated by the board is what it was.
Well,
Okay.
then it should be brought to the board
I
again.
know.
Hey, Roger. Roger,
He died.
Yes, sir.
how would you like to entertain us with a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Thanks, Roger.
Hey, folks, get home safe. Thank you very much for your attendance and your patience, and we will get to the issues that we need to get to.
No, I don't.
Hang in there.
I don't. Yeah, that's as important.
Thanks, Roger. We'll talk to you. When are you coming back?
Have you had any experience with that?
I'll be back on the 7th.
After the roads are sealed, right?